Esoteric, know that the spirits of forever, that don't worry about my monad. Ain't you been out your mind, got me wondering where you saw that. The fruit that you bear ain't good, it's gon' go bad. Yeah, I'm about to cut like I'm from Detroit. Fresh as hell in front of abandoned houses like a D-boy. And all that shakiness that you be doing making me know. Thought you was the real McCoy, but you just a decoy, yeah. And ain't nobody told you, bitch, you need God. Esoteric gun up in my head, don't make me squeeze off. I'm Archangel Uriel, you little demons be gone. Ask about your bitch, man, with that hoe might need some sea moss. Yeah, you in trouble like police cars. But try to stand on business, you can't handle like a PR. And I ain't from this world, but I ain't really trying to lead y'all. Might go up and down a roller coaster or a seesaw. It's the law, violent man. Esoteric, know that the spirits of forever, that don't worry about my monad. Ain't you been out your mind, got me wondering where you saw that. The fruit that you bear ain't good, it's gon' go bad. Yeah, I'm about to cut like I'm from Detroit. Fresh as hell in front of abandoned houses like a D-boy. And all that shakiness that you be doing making me noise. Thought you was the real McCoy, but you just a decoy, yeah. You fake as ever, you don't make it better. It's you I hate forever, I'ma change the weather. I make the keys and organize the matrix setup. I'm the engineer that's how this came together, yeah. I'm about to change the shit niggas is living. Entertainment, education, politics, business, religion. Pilots and be on a plane like a trip, bitches be tripping. Feel like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee to the shit niggas is kicking, yeah. Bitch, it's fly bars here. Toy Story, it's just like gin. You ain't shit, baby, you should know that. Cause I don't forget shit, and listen, you gon' need some Prozac. I got autographic memory, esoteric, know that. The spirits of forever, that don't worry about my monad. Ain't you been out your mind, got me wondering where you saw that. The fruit that you bear ain't good, it's gon' go bad. Yeah, I'm about to cut like I'm from Detroit. Fresh as hell in front of abandoned houses like a D-boy. And all that shakiness that you be doing making me noise. Thought you was the real McCoy, but you just a decoy, yeah. For that esoteric notepad. All right, we're gonna break down some real good spiritual science and knowledge and stuff like that, so people can find their sweet spot, their creativity, their gold mine, and maybe they could shine. Maybe they could shine. They don't be having to, hate on other people's shine, hate on other people's glow, hate on other people's literature in the sky, literature on the ground. You're literature touring around, literature. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different thing going on. See, it's a whole, you know what I'm saying? You got a culture, you got a literature. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all can't light up. You're not lit up. You're just trying to find a synthetic version of it. Trying to be lit. Trying to block shine to get it. Trying to use gold that may be 14K or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe gold plated, whatever the case may be. However it may be. We're going to substantiate how that glow's supposed to be, how it's supposed to shine, how you're supposed to vibrate. And when we start to talk about that vibe, you know the vibes, you know what I'm saying? People don't really know the vibes like that, but you know the vibes. Mind your business. That's the first thing. Now, a lot of times when we hear these things in certain other pockets and areas, you might think somebody calling you nosy. You might think somebody is, you know what I'm saying, rubber you the wrong way, trying to point out something that you know you're doing anyway, or whatever the case may be. So you want to go ahead and play in that spiritual resistant mode and try to think that you might even over-exaggerate a person that's hiding something, whatever, if they give you that kind of energy, that animosity of why you paying attention too much, or why you talking too much, or however the case. But there's a real existence and mechanism that goes on that start to develop anytime you mind your business. And when we separate it from the concept of just minding your business, is when you got time to yourself and the real meditated space, when you ain't really thinking about nobody else. Bars, when you got time to yourself, the real meditative space, when you ain't got time to be thinking about nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And that could be felt. And a lot of times with the things you develop in that space, that juice, if you're able to see it, see, a lot of times
A lot of y'all gotta force yourselves out of other people's business. Some of y'all are forced in other people's business. Some of y'all can't escape other people's business, especially if you got other type of circumstances, family, friends, associates, co-workers, any type of networking ability, siblings, children, right? Not to say that these things are actual, business or problem, because a lot of these things is your business. They come with you. But know how to compartmentalize and separate what's your business and what you just get involved in and what you have made your spirit responsible for, or per se. You know what I'm saying? Because you really could have been jumped out of that esoteric spiritual gate. But based upon what you was entertained by in that little loopity system, you know what I'm saying? Based upon whatever you was gravitated towards, whatever same forms that pretty much a replica of whatever form you be creating in the mind or whatever, got you more attracted into that. Now, the people that start to duplicate in that area that's playing out those traits, you might find yourself being more in that business than your own. See, and a lot of people may listen to this and they only want to hear through expectation. And a lot of times you're not able to hear the full spectrum of something that'll still play out in your expectation, just not at a time or a place or a thing or a person you might expect it as or whatever. And that's how you stay open for God or whatever. And my whole point of saying that is due to the fact of, when you hear creativity or your business, a lot of times y'all think y'all get ready to be in front of some contracts and write down something on a piece of paper or what I'm talking about could lead to that. You know what I'm saying? But if your mind ain't right, you're not even going to be able to get to point B. So we got to substantiate point A, observation. You know what I'm saying? Deciphering. What's this? What's that? Before you jump on a train track and end up going in the wrong direction in your life and can't get back. You know what I'm saying? Bars. It's like bars. Like, you got to have game first. You know what I'm saying? To understand what I'm even talking about, to get your game, get this game to your people. You probably already got the game. You know what I'm saying? We helping each other out if we all got the game. We all players. Men and women, we all players. We helping each other. Each one teach one. I'm probably listening to you. You probably listening to me. And even if we don't know each other, it's in the wind. It's still in the wind. It's still in the air. Game don't never pass up. You know what I'm saying? The game, people could catch it. It grow like off trees and stuff like that. And a lot of times people ain't around those fruitful areas in life, though. Understand that. A lot of times people ain't around them fruitful times in life. And once you get to those fruitful areas, then you'll be able to grab the right fruit and not always around the ones with ants and wingworms on them, poison ivy, branches nearby and stuff like that, invasive species and invasive strawberry Indian plants and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Little strawberries, all that stuff mess up the whole ecosystem of what you got going on. And now you somewhere on VH1, or if you're a regular person claiming people around you is toxic. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same thing. Whether you're on VH1 claiming your career was toxic, whether you're in your real life, family, friend, associate, co-worker, story you got to tell 100 times over was toxic, however the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But that's going to let you know where you at. And also separating you from the concept of you not minding your business in areas that you may filter it out and only want to hear it through, or only want to expect it as, and things of that nature. I'm trying to get y'all out of that so you can be back in order. So when you get back into your mind, then your body, then the external, you're able to see that business, my business. And then you actually know, then you won't even have to argue and be like, what kind of business you got? You talking about some business. See, y'all get into a whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of lostness and stuff, not even knowing what substantiate what a business is in the first place. And y'all just want to get lost in words and terms and stuff like that really allow others that you probably can't even see get the upper hand. But that's just getting into the physical aspect of it, and which we're going to get into. But I want to break down what space you have to be in for you to even be a businessman. I'm a businessman or businesswoman. I'm not a feminist. I got my own business. However you want to go. You know what I'm saying? But it's goal be in that spectrum where you got the right mind state to be able to do it, and you're not able to like throw away your morality and stuff like that in the back seat due to the fact of reading a few books or whatever, and they claiming that this is the only substantiated, institutionalized way of going about something, and going about it in any other kind of way won't have no possibilities of you reaching success, and that's false. You know what I'm saying? But before we even get into the physicality of it, we need to understand just from the spiritual space, right? Because when we even get into minding other people's business when it comes to their business, the things that they're involved in, also what you involved in before it even accumulates in the physical. I'm trying to put everybody back in order so you can even know Even when it comes to things that you got to take care of, like your physical businesses and your things dealing with your physical stuff, it's still derived from things that play out in order as this procedure mechanism. Your soul, then your awareness, your mind, your first body, then your organs, your adrenaline, that stimuli, things of that nature from the mind state attention span, and then what you're going to physically externally do, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of times this substantiate if you're making the right moves or not. And a lot of times if you're lost in the physical, then a program that, you know, Walt Disney may have taught us, just generalizing, you know, I'm not singling out Walt Disney, I'm just saying what we may have created as a social norm may have made you believe this is XYZ and the way of going about it and stuff like that. A lot of times allow you to be more into like a people pleasing energy or a more of a synthetic intelligence, where let's say you went X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, 1, 2, 3 the right way. You did something the right way, not naturally what you do the right way. And then if you're not understanding that small simultaneous part of life, there's going to be times you reach situations where you get praise for what you did, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, and 3, but you're still going to be unfulfilled and unpleased. And then that's when that degenerate energy play in, and sometimes you're willing to sacrifice what you have did and the respect you have got from it in order for you to fully go forward what you always wanted to do whenever you're going to reach that conclusion, because everybody do in their life. This is how a lot of times y'all see a lot of celebrities and stuff like that reach a goal. Then you got that goal, but you think what you want to do based upon your expectation, and they might got other things to do in their life or other things that they want, or whatever the case. So you'll probably see them crash out or do some Britney Spears, shave her head or something like that. However, and you might be thinking, oh, they crashing out for the money. They crashing out, they losing their money or whatever. And it might be something that just comes with the thing that they're trying to detach from so they could fully go forward what they actually want to do. Whether it was part of a psyop or not, we still have to understand people are real people. So me making that example even goes through Kai Kanat and stuff like that. Whether even if that was a psyop or not, still pressure is hard on individuals and stuff. So it's like a scripted reality, partially real, you know what I'm saying? But then a whole bunch of Mona Scott put onto it, about 75% Mona Scott sauce. You know what I'm saying? Love and hip hop scripted reality sauce put on it. And a lot of times that small percentage sometimes start to be overlooked, put in the back seat. And then a person sit back sometimes when they ain't around no one else or just around close ones to be like, wait, this little small percentage we throwing in the back seat for all this other stuff to make it feel like that this is glorious and is willing to look like a clown for these things may not necessarily always feel comfortable, may not always feel like it's the right thing to do, regardless of the things that Walt Disney taught us that comes from it means success. And a lot of times that'll drive a person crazy because the actual things that start to matter in their life that's on a small percentage scale, everybody else is only paying attention to the larger percentage scale. And a person don't even know how to make that mean anything without it looking like they're crashing out, without it making it looking like they're in their feelings, without it making it seem like they can't handle something that the average individual will love and die for or something like. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be careful what we're doing with the mind, and are we living in order before we even get into the physical and what the fleshly makes us think what's a social norm and what's going to make us feel comfortable and fulfilled. And a lot of times we put ourselves in sticky situations we don't necessarily have to. That's why it's a thing. All money ain't good money. All energy ain't good energy. That's esoteric currency, culture currency. Even with your own culture or sharing cultures with others, so you can build business with others and stuff like that. Before it even leads into all money ain't good money, you could be in some type of energy, sharing first bodies, the mind, y'all spaceships, and all energy ain't good energy. Sharing that space with y'all spaceships, the mind states y'all floating through, the feelings and thoughts y'all floating through in that area. It ain't always good to share or whatever the case may be, because that could trickle down into you having a thief around you, having a backstabber around you, having somebody around you that make you play out those energies and you didn't know you had those sides about you and things of that nature. So it's on both causes. I like to tell individuals all the time, because Jay-Z got it wrong. You know what I'm saying? It ain't what's happening to you. It's just happening for you. That sounds selfish. You know what I'm saying? Of course, everybody got their bias, but you got to get out that last little bias. And universe or things is not happening to you or for you. It's just happening through you. You just a representation and an example. But it ain't what you going through, it's how you go through it. And that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you a gem. That's so when something happening for you or to you, you don't have to get into no type of animosity or whatever the case may be, because you know it's just happening through you. So how you deal with it, if it's happening for you, how you deal with it should be seen as an example. And if it's happening for you or to you, how you deal with it should be an example. So if it's happening to you and it's something negative or whatever, if you can handle it better than someone else, that's an example. Kudos, you're unique. And something happening for you, and you can monetize that a lot better than another individual, before another individual in that same position have to look over their back a lot more than you or whatever, then kudos to you or whatever. But it ain't happening to you or for you, it's just happening through you as a representation. So once you understand that and separate your biases, you also understand this. So you're not on the side of the victim or the bully, so you have full equilibrium and have the gauntlet ring of Thanos. You really understand this when it comes into these aspects. Just as much as you think something gonna happen to an individual because they pushing out energy, just as much as a person gonna end up in the same situation as allowing something to happen to them. So yeah, we can care about the victim, but also the or the oppressor. But at the same time, there's some equilibrium circumstance that God want to see also. And for the most part, if the person who's getting bullied gonna allow themselves to get bullied, for the most part, ain't no God gonna stop the bully from them, unless the God working through that person's hand to go upside the bully's head, so the bully starts second questioning if they gonna even bully anybody else after that or whatever the case may be. And on the other side, right, just as much as the energy of the person that's doing things or whatever, they gonna get the same energy or whatever, just not in the way that the victim think about it or whatever, until the victim be that problem. See what I'm saying? And that's what people have to understand. So you could sit back and think something's going to happen to someone or whatever the case may be because they're doing negative. But if someone is allowing something to happen to them, they end up in the same negative spot. But both is going down the same road. The oppressor and the victim, they both going down the same road in some way, shape, or form. So everybody have to be in some type of equilibrium to a certain degree, especially if you're an adult. You'll clearly understand what I'm actually talking about. You know what I'm saying? You know you ain't no victim, but you know you ain't oppressing nobody either. So that's even when it comes into people who enemies or whatever the case. That be the root mustard seed that each party may not know what's going on, but that is what's going on. Each party would just start to come to conclusions like, you just go your way, I go my way. We don't gotta actually clash or whatever the case may be, but we don't gotta actually be friends either or whatever. So that means one or the other ain't oppressing one or the other, and one or the other ain't being a victim. Both of them found some equilibrium energy in some way, shape, or form. God ain't say we all had to get along. But if we all got some, we all could find some communion. We all could get the same sunlight. We all could get the same rain. So we all could find some same type of mentality. So we have to know how to compartmentalize and separate what we think matter and what don't matter. And there's things beyond that we all could come together that ain't got nothing to do with our singular biases, because we don't got to come together. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, and we got some overall communion that I can understand when I'm on my own, and you can understand when you're on your own or whatever, then that's both of us understanding something beyond us. You know what I'm saying? So if we both could understand that, or multiple parties could understand that, then for the most part, that's a clear representation. Now, I know a lot of people might be like, well, I don't like word God. I don't like the word universe. I don't like the word, I don't like sun and moon, star. However the case may be, I don't care about your monkey ass and your thoughts and things of that nature. Just know that, goddamn it, there's some things you can understand when you're on your own, and there's some things that others who share similar organs as you can understand on their own, that we don't have to be around each other to understand. Yet, if we're able to be aware of it, it's a form of existence. And if it play out in forms of being more relatable and more in sync, regardless of our own bias, I don't want to breathe the same air as this person or whatever the case may be. But what's more relatable and more in sync? You don't have to be around that person to even actually do that. So you didn't have to victimize that person or oppress them, and then they have to victimize or oppress you. That's a form of relatable and in sync energy. Both parties is closer to God. You know what I'm saying? So this is how you get clearly into those energies also, of knowing that God understand everybody and what you did. Not in those lost synthetic ways y'all be thinking about it when y'all be making mistakes in y'all life about stuff, the stupid stuff. No, these be the deep areas where you really learn lessons and stuff like that, and be like, okay, I know how to carry myself, and I know who to mix and mingle with, because I know who probably been on that path and who not been on that path based upon how they left elbow moves and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It all boils down to that too. Mind states been down into your movement, facial expressions, and all these things of that nature. So it's letting you know there's a there's something happening. And if you just look into detail, you start to understand, oh, okay, attention span develops into stimuli and organs. So I'm actually making blood. I'm actually making adrenaline. So if I'm having dull thoughts and stuff like that, I may start developing unmotivational thoughts and feelings, and I might start developing unmotivational blood flow and unmotivational actions, and I might end up being Beavis and Butthead that whole day or whatever. Now, if I'm in a different spiritual space and I start developing a whole bunch of thoughts and feelings, like, and I ain't even in recharge space, like I'm sleeping, and I'm just getting all these different imaginations, all that blood, all that attention span going to develop as stimuli, and then I'm going to have adrenaline, and then I'm going to be moving, just ready to exhaust everything I just accumulated, so I can sweat out and stuff like that if I overproduce it or whatever. But what you think you're doing, you know what I'm saying? That's what that process is. You're actually developing it. So when it comes to getting blood movement going and stimuli, you also got to have, it also starts with the mind too. You can't be a person with an unproductive mind and think that that's going to lead you into being productive physically. And you could be a person, even if you got a job, but let's say you got a retarded or unproductive mind or whatever, then is your body going to do the opposite. Your body might start wearing and tearing and stuff like that because you don't have a lot of good ideas about what you're doing or a lot of different angles of how to look at it. Every idea might be a depressing one. Every idea might be, I don't like this, or whatever the case may be. And that might be geared towards things that you kind of got to do, maybe to keep a roof over your head or however the case may be, or whatever. And for the most part, you're going to start getting other aches, lower back spasms, you know what I'm saying? Right upper shoulder, collarbone spasms, eczema on the left shoulder blade or something. You know what I'm saying? Some weird, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, but it comes from that. So I'm trying to tell you, it's like you could develop bad blood, or you could develop good blood, or whatever the case may be. But it does starts in the mind. You got to understand it from that. It's easier to say it than someone explaining it simple, so you understand the process and how you feeling, and you understand in each instant. Like if you listen to me long enough, like life will start scaring you after a while. Once you get over that little hump though, then you'll start to be like, oh, whatever I was scared about life, I can't stop those things anyway. For an example, right? I could get deep into spirituality to have a lot of y'all start going to sleep and start trying to be aware of your dreams. But the first low, I ain't gonna call it low level human, but this would be the first couple of thoughts y'all start thinking. Y'all start thinking you get stuck in your dreams. You get stuck. Go through all that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't never was scared of that, but experiencing all that allows me to see there's many different ways I know how humans can think. Whatever you can think of, you can't do that anyway. So just think about it that way. That'll ease some stress from y'all when y'all want to start overthinking, over exaggerating, when y'all think y'all be in y'all dreams, and what y'all be calling it lucid dreaming or whatever the case may be. Lucid dreaming just means you getting ready to go to sleep. You ain't fully asleep yet, or you on your way to waking up. You know what I'm saying? So your body is recharged, or that's what lucid dream don't mean. You just in dream. Like y'all be trying to separate worlds. I don't know why y'all try to do that. It's all the same thing. You just transitioning into this. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. But then y'all come up with all these sci-fi stuff. Y'all be like, oh, but what if you could die your dream? And what if you do all that? Whatever you think of, trust me, somebody would have already did that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody already harder than you would have did that. You know what I'm saying? I would have already did that or whatever. So y'all, you can't do that. Whatever y'all be thinking, y'all can't do that. If that's the case, then somebody should have stopped your mother and stuff like that. When she met your father and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's some stuff you can't stop. Like you couldn't stop your heart. You're like, whatever. You might as well think like that. What if I could stop my heart when I was in my mother or something like that? Sometimes I be thinking of you. I wish you could thought like that. But you know what I'm saying? But we here now. We here now. And so now you can know we can each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? You can't do everything you just be thinking of in your mind. Try to jump off a building and fly right now like Superman. You know what I'm saying? Anything. So you got to understand it's a transition, not these things being two different worlds. No, it's the same thing. It's a transition, right? But when you look at it like that, you're just looking at the lighter stage and the heavier stage, and you're looking at the process. You just get confused into separating the process as one or the other. Then you start thinking, oh, reality is this, and then the mind is that. So what we create the mind ain't real. No, what we create the mind is real. It's just not realistic. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference y'all be concluding. It ain't going to be realistic if it ain't close to God, a.k.a. being in sync or relatability. It's just going to be something you made up in your mind. That's not realistic. So it's a real thought. It just ain't realistic because it ain't in sync. It ain't relatable. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's relatable, it's in sync. All right. You brought the real thought into reality, realistic, or whatever the case may be. That's the only way it play out, though. Once we start over exaggerating a whole bunch of other stuff and things, that's why we got a bunch of lostness in the world right now. So we got to understand these things. But when it comes to minding your business, right? Because we're 25 minutes in. Minding your business. So now think about it, right? Anytime, and a lot of people have to force themselves to mind their business, like I said. But look, when you mind your business, and I'm going beyond what y'all talk about, y'all physicalities and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm talking about even in the gossip stage, or the things that be in your mind, or your responsibilities, and whatever the case may be, right? These is your gold mines. Supposedly, a lot of y'all got coal mines and stuff like that. But here's the thing: when you mind your business, aka your spirit inside of your first body, your mind, and in this physical body, paying attention to things that you own, your own self-awareness. That means you bored, nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, you're going to start to see something happen. What's going to happen? You wanting to do something. Now, the little things that you start to do to develop as a habit. Now, some of y'all jump, when y'all get small in that percentage scale, y'all jump in to start interacting with other people. That's you jumping into other people's business at this stage. See, I'm trying to go beyond the physical. Try not to have somebody else on your mind or other things on your mind. Try to just have, when you're in that stage of being bored and now you tired of being bored, it's a process that's getting ready to happen. Stuff you naturally do. And when it comes to the things we naturally do, we're using our natural mind. We're always going to be the most intelligent. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is always intelligent. The problem is y'all use your mind for stuff that we ain't supposed to be using our mind for. So you become intelligent for unintelligent stuff. You become a real smart bank robber. You know what I'm saying? Or you become a real, and I don't know why I always use that example. I'm just helping y'all trying to understand what's actually going on. Your mind is always at work because your mind is what produced as blood flow and adrenaline and these organs. So it's a system already running. It's just a lot of times y'all get out of order. Now, when you're in this space, bored, not doing anything or whatever, right? Before it click on and you have to start thinking about other people and what they're doing and stuff like that, that's already a sign that you're involved in too. And it ain't nothing wrong with this, but it could be too much on a percentage scale to the point that when you're too much into other people's business, your spirit is in their space, inside of their mind states, and they ain't even physically around or whatever the case may be. A lot of times, this lack the producing quality of this mechanism that I'm speaking of. When these people not in mind and you're bored and your body start to, or your actions start to feel like you trying to do something and you're not trying to be bored anymore, you actually start building your natural talent, your natural qualities. And if you pay attention to the first group of things you start thinking and the first group of things you start doing, or whatever the case may be, you will start seeing that's what everybody built on when it comes to their uniqueness. When it's a person that's already in the synthetic world, they already in movies or whatever the case may be, they already know how to act, they already know how to do. This is the part you miss. This is the place that they're at. Even when it comes into the comments, let's say the person stay in a dangerous neighborhood or whatever the case may be, and they want to play sports or whatever. Think about the things in this aspect that they had to do first. Separate from the homies, separate from the gang, separate from this, separate from that, or whatever the case may be. Make sure they always go to basketball practice. The things that they're thinking in their mind by themselves, by still being involved, but still can't be involved the way, because maybe their parents got them at this basketball thing or whatever the case may be. All those when they by themselves. You know what I'm saying? All those thoughts that they have to think, oh, I'm bored right now. Whatever. This is why a lot of times people didn't even know how much talent they had until they're in the halfway house or in jail for about 10 years or whatever the case may be. But they're forced in that space. And if everybody understands this is a natural space you could actually go to anyway, you'll start to separate it from being forced in it when y'all naturally bored because of y'all synthetic concepts of being bored. Oh, I'm not around people today, or I can't got nobody to call today, or I ain't got to work today, or something like that. These be the basis of what y'all claiming is bored. And for lack of better terms, we need better words or more words for a lot of these things we are experiencing, because it get a little hard to describe, yet these are things we experience every day, and it's simple, and we all are aware of it. But when we get out into life and get into these words and people slap meanings and stuff on these other words, we get into external business, physical representation businesses that still leave us away from challenging ourselves and developing that mechanism pardon me, that mechanism of what develops our uniqueness and our creativity. So when we start to present something, we actually understand and value business. That, like, even when it comes to somebody's like gossip type of business, you understand, you appreciate what it means to not just be out here allowing everybody who ain't part of your close people or whatever the case know everything or whatever. You start to look at the importance of these things and start to see how people live who don't take these things important and see where they may crash out and stuff like that. You start to see a lot of things for the most part. But when you start to be in this area of being bored, you're going to start to develop something. And if you ain't a person that jumped too much into trying to get into other people's mind state business first, then you're going to start developing that gold mine, that business on your own. Then it's going to reach us. It's going to reach us. Like, once you're in that space for a minute, it's going to reach a stage where you're going to start deciding if it's something you truly want to involve other people in, or this is just something that you truly want to dive all the way in when you're clear from everybody, family, friends, people who are close to you and stuff like that. And it becomes that type of thing that y'all be into when the common individual be in that type of space when they binge watching something or whatever. But it becomes a productive thing for you. You try to not like necessarily express why you're trying to separate from people, but you always plan your day to kind of like separate from people, to have this whole little open space for you to fully dive into what's ultimately, if you're on this side of the universe, going to become some creativity, some productivity, and with some of the case. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times when a average, especially if you're coming from the hood, it can be so many distractions going on, you don't realize this the main thing you be jealous about when you don't have it. And not to even be jealous at other individuals. It might filter through it. Like, a lot of times one person may have had not this parent or something like that, and they may express it like that. Well, I'm gonna beat this person, they ain't got this parent, or I think you should feel me, or I think it be filtered through that. But a lot of times it just be that person haven't really sat and developed their own uniqueness when they was at that time of being bored, and they're amongst everybody every day that's a little higher on a percentage scale in that area. So a person become a secret admirer, or a person that start to go extremely hard to get validated from these individuals a lot of times. And when you're growing up in the hood, it depends on living conditions and like parents and things of that nature. So for the most part, it could be like certain other kids is in that situation by default than someone who might not got as many boxes of cereal on top of the refrigerator or whatever the case may be. So it's like it's a fluff that if you're growing up in the hood, you don't even be paying attention to. But once you start to get older, you'll start to realize it is a fluff. You know what I'm saying? You'll be trying to get validation from someone in other areas that really at the root ain't got nothing else to do with nothing else, but you probably went to his house or her house and their parents probably had more boxes of cereal on top of the refrigerator or whatever the case. You see what I'm saying? All the way down to person probably can't even fight. And you would even justify how they was winning fights or whatever the case because that's your friend or whatever. Like, I didn't seen it all. You see what I'm saying? And now you're gonna go so far on that path without developing your business, which you have to offer, then you become a person that will even crash out and go to jail to please someone else mentality who ain't shit just like you or whatever the case may be. And I see this all the time or whatever. And it's natural cause. All from the like just getting in trouble, being in the wrong crowd, all this type of stuff from the initial stage of not minding your business from the spiritual aspect of it before you even get involved physically or whatever. The peer pressure fluff area. You know what I'm saying? That storm cloud is extreme in the hood because it's undescribable. Ain't no college gave us no college courses to know how to describe it. We don't go to grade school to give us words about that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All of that is just there, like a dark cloud over everybody. And it's more pieces to that. That was just one piece. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different pieces to that or whatever, and a lot of different scenarios that just hang around while you walking through all other type of clouds, like grade school, after school practice or sports or whatever the case may be. And a lot of these things end up being where a person still can't describe, already in jail though, or probably already in the casket, or already have made too many mistakes and however the case may be. And got forced into that area where now they can stumble over some gold, but they so tainted they can't reach it to the full maximum potential. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you never knew you could make a hit song, but you got 25 years in jail, in prison to realize it. Or I'm just making that example. You see what I'm saying? But that's the common thing in the hood because of the lack of spiritual literature. You know what I'm saying? These are things that school can't teach us, but school can help us sharpen our sword by understanding these things also, or whatever. So it's good to know math, but then if now you know what to do with math, you know what I'm saying? By knowing the spiritual qualities or just knowing mannerisms or knowing how to mind state in that dark cloud and having someone that can actually describe it, because we all see it. We all know it's a fluff. It's a fluffiness. We all know we dealing with and things of that nature. It's just, it's like it's hidden. It's an internal thing because that's that internal world before it condensed and become the physical. It's apparent. It's aware. We create atmospheres. We create environments amongst each other and stuff. And we be going by things that go beyond the physical things in the environment. You know what I'm saying? We create a whole atmosphere within an environment with a stop sign that the atmosphere playing out in the environment may not care nothing about the stop sign. So y'all get what I'm trying to say? It's something else going on. That's how we make communion and everything in that nature. But in this world, when you know how to mind your business, you actually create gold mine and then you know how to parlay the right way. So then when you actually start to join other people or whatever, you're only going to go around other people who got gold mine too. And you only going to want to present yourself when you got something to offer. You ain't even want to go present yourself if you ain't make no creative thing at that esoteric drawing board or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You end up being happy every day to present wherever area or environment you at, what you get ready to do. That's how, especially when you going to Philly and how they be battle rapping on the corners or whatever the case may be. That saved a lot of these Philly rappers' lives or whatever the case may be. And being in that little space or the little colonist homes alone and stuff like that. And then for the most part, hitting the block so everybody ain't shooting each other 24/7 because now you can make up something. Hey, we about to have a rap session or whatever the case may be. Then that pour over into other things. Instead of beefing with other people, we about to go to the next block and we all about to battle rap or whatever. You see what I'm saying? It creates a different aura, but it creates more relatability and more synchronized energy. That's closer to God. You know what I'm saying? So our energy could be directed in better areas, more profitable areas, more productive areas, or whatever the case may be. But a lot of times we just surrounded by so many individuals that don't know how to mind their business in the spiritual world or whatever the case may be. So when it comes to mind and business, that's the only thing they end up being good at, minding other people's business, trying to find gold, trying to find business, trying to find something that they haven't developed on their own. We're supposed to make love ourselves so we don't have to go out here and look for it and find it. We're supposed to make hatred for ourselves so we don't have to go out here and look for it and find it. You're supposed to look at the things you hate within yourself so it don't have to reach the light of day. You're supposed to know what to love about yourself so you know what someone else look like who love themselves look like, so you know how much love to give and how much not to, and vice versa, other than you giving love to someone who didn't know how to build self-love. So they just going to be in the business of taking it or whatever the case may be. And wherever it's at, they're going to get it. So once they drain your ass up for all your love, now they're going to go somewhere else to be fulfilled for. And now you ain't going to have no more love to even give or develop for yourself. So, and then you're going to be a taker. Then that person put you in just the same energy as them. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times we have to be in that space knowing that we have to develop our own in all scenarios. And that's our own business. Then once you got a business of your own, you're going to start respecting game and start allowing people to just have their own business. And you're going to look at previous situations to be like, man, there was a lot of business I wasn't even supposed to be involved in. AKA, a lot of times they don't even be physical, be peer pressure. It was a lot of people pleasing or validation qualities I was giving to people, whatever I shouldn't even gave to. That didn't open the door for this person to look at me like this, that I know I'm not that person no more. I don't want to be looked at like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually greater than that. I'm actually not the doger. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually not the soldier. I'm actually not the little homie. You see what I'm saying? You start understanding things real clearly. Now you becoming an adult as a spirit. You see what I'm saying? Now you becoming an adult as a spirit. Because it's like your spirit is expanding on something. Your spirit like to work on something. Your spirit don't like to work on other things. And anytime you don't mind your business too much and stuff like that, you'll start to realize that your spirit is working for something that's not really commune to it or germane to it. And you're going to start to play that resistant, but depending on how deep you got into it how far you went into something, how much you involved yourself into something. You're going to have to do that same percentage energy, same amount of days, weeks, months to get out of it. And a lot of people be in toxic scenarios. So you got to play fire with fire type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because you had no business getting involved in something or whatever because you wasn't minding your business. But that's what it's about. So when it comes into these energies or whatever, right? Going back to the spiritual space of it, when you at that time and you think you bored, you're going to build a natural reaction, a natural mechanism, aka you're going to start to try to do something, right? Now here's the thing. The average individual might be so lost into the physical world still, they might not know how to look at forms of inspiration just in within the mind. So they'll look at, damn, when I'm bored, I only know how to watch my favorite show or something like that. All right, that could be a form of inspiration. So as long as you always developing something that's the productive, you're always going to be able to jump into something that will become lazy or unproductive or procrastinating, and you transmute that energy, and those only become inspirations. So those same things that a person, what other people and their family will look at and be like, this person only doing this and this blocking them from being fruitful in life. It ain't what we do, it's how we do it. You will be in the same situation, but it'll be supported. God to make sure these things all the way around, or God to make sure these things always around, or it'll always be people trying to figure out why you ain't around these things, because these is the things that's essential for you to be doing whatever this creative thing that you're doing, whether it's business, entertainment, education, religion, or politics, or whatever the case may be. So we all be doing the what, but the how is how we produce the fruit. Whether you're going to take the apple and make apple cider, take lemons, make lemonade, you know what I'm saying? Take cherry, make cherry pie, however the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace on the cherry massacre and stuff. I don't like cherry pie. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? But just going into that space, what you start to really realize is, okay, I'm starting to develop what's uniquely me. And you're going to start deciding if you even feel comfortable showing other people it or not. Now, if it's productive and it's creative enough, eventually it's going to want to show. It's going to be like that. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And then it's going to be like you expressing it and like shocking people. People will be like, damn, I never knew you was into that and stuff like that. It's going to start feeling good. You're going to be like, damn, why I ain't do that sooner, or whatever the case may be. Then a few people may get into this energy and stumble and fall. They might feel embarrassed. They might not get the reciprocation that they thought they was going to get, and start to feel that slight, vulnerable, embarrassed energy, like, oh, I shouldn't let nobody know I did this or whatever. Let me go back to the drawing board or whatever, maybe update it, however the case. But for the most part, you working on yourself, right? And you're going to realize the most jealous people you was ever around in its most essential stage, when they was by themselves, they never was in that space. And you're going to start to work on things that other people lack spiritually. You're going to always be able to see it duplicate in the physical world, in your own personal life. Can't nobody else show you that, because everybody know their own people in their own location or whatever the case. So that's divination at that point, or somebody rocking you to sleep. Someone could just set you up for the path, but you have to walk the path to actually see the experiences and things of that nature. And you'll be able to see also like what you're dealing with and how to build on what other people don't have in the actual way of life. And you'll be seeing that people they be like in a synthetic life, just surviving. It ain't really got nothing to do with the natural order of how something go. And when you're sure about something, that's like a mental confirmation of comfortability. It's like a cloth for your spirit to not feel naked through any weather and storm or something like that. So you feel like you got to know how, because that's all what y'all be searching for anyway. No matter if you in math class and you don't know what 4 plus 4, you feel a little bit more vulnerable than someone else and everybody else in the classroom that know what 4 plus 4 is, or whatever the case. But the moment you get that idea and you know what 4 plus 4 is, now you feel comfortable going into math class now in 4th grade or however the case. Or elementary, you learned that in elementary. But at the same time, it's helping you understand this is what we're doing anyway. This is why a lot of people even jump into religions or whatever. These are things you're searching for. Psalms, you know what I'm saying? Synchronized relatability bodies. These are heavenly bodies, stars. But we're talking about mind states though. We're not talking about no not them satellites or the sun and moon. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about I'm talking about the man-made satellites, no. But we're talking about the nations, the peoples, the personas, the characteristics that caricatures could get colonized from, but the actual characters, the personifications, the angles, the alignments that create certain alignments itself that make us interact in that same kind of alignment or whatever. You know, when you're distant to someone, you know, when you side by side with someone, you know, when you going through a head-on collision or a tug of war with someone or whatever, and y'all trying to find some fairness, or y'all gonna clash based upon an injustice or whatever. You know, when there's a misunderstanding, an inconjunction or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know, when there's an opportunity, a sextile, you know what I'm saying, where you a totally different thing and something else is a totally different thing, whether that's a person, place, or thing, but both things coming together could possibly make something brand new or whatever. You know what I'm saying? However the case may be, or cause a combustion, where all opportunities ain't good opportunities. But these is like a different type of concept, whereas that it really supposed to be normal, but we put this in the back seat, and then we start to use these things anyway for things in life that's already made from the out of order body than the physical. So we're using the soft lightness for hard shit, and then now we complaining that life is hard and things of that nature, when really we're just over analyzing or over exaggerating about a whole bunch of stuff we created ourselves that really ain't things. You know what I'm saying? We're just basing things because we're using our mind for things they ain't made for. You know what I'm saying? For these, now I don't want to get into laws and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I want to keep this a peaceful live stream. But that would have been a hell of a goddamn good example. I gotta do it. I'm gonna just do one. You know what I'm saying? But look, everybody pay y'all bills and stuff like that. I ain't got no bias or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Don't use my channel to say I'm running. Nah, I ain't got no code, nothing. You know what I'm saying? This is the intelligent example about something. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people may overthink because of the heat bill or whatever, you know, roof over your head. Oh, or however the case may be, because of realtors and, you know what I'm saying, however things was colonized or whatever the case. So you might be overthinking, and you had to slide up, living up under the bus station for a few days or whatever the case and stuff like that. So you stressing, people in the office we might see on TV act like they stressing, like they go help. You might got family members and stuff like that act like after they kicked you out. But think about all that stress that really we could have just all came together as all different ethnic groups and created a system, a nation type of system for the landmass, for that won't be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't the mind state, it ain't the physical thing itself that you use in your mind to be stressed out about. Damn, I ain't got no house. Damn it. You know what I'm saying? It's the mind state of what you got to do to get a house and what kind of living conditions you live in America. You colonized right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like a whole different, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different thing. We make ourselves, you know what I'm saying? We make ourselves stress. So it's like we all included. It ain't no like one person or whatever. Like we all included, from the bus station to the highest goddamn 13th floor building stuff to all the middle windows and rooms that all of us as citizens can walk in, choose, or get kicked out, or a lot of you immigrants get back on the boat. But however the case it may be, but you got to understand what's going on. You got to understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of time, but not to say one person could go out and change that. It's just sparking a seed, though, to let us know a lot of our over exaggerations and stuff like that may not necessarily be from the real world exaggeration. It might be from the Walt Disney Simpsons, whatever commercial came on when Michael Jackson had a goddamn cavalry jacket on and stuff like that. And I start getting flashbacks. You know what I'm saying? Whatever was programmed and stuff like that, for the most part, that's what we start thinking. Boom, okay, that's what we need to think about. And a lot of times it had went so far, it went beyond what one or two people could change or whatever the case may be. So a lot of people might just be in heartache in the brain for things that may not have anything to do with nothing. God, not a little lassie, you know what I'm saying? A little Red Rover. You know what I'm saying? I love a little Dennis the Menace. You know what I'm saying? I'm Charlie Brown. You know what I'm saying? Not nobody, not Sabrina and the Three Witches. None of them. Not Charm. And you know what I'm saying? Not Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Not Spike. Not angel, not none of them. And jealous. Oh, I said not and jealous, not none of them. Goddamn it. I'm saying, you gotta understand what's going on though. So as long as you know how to mind your business or whatever, and here's the thing, it's not to say you can't get in other people's business. I just had to put this in a spiritual lens or whatever the case. So people don't want to be like, he talking about how we gonna make some money or whatever the case may be. You got to have some type of creativity or talent for you to even be accepted by other people to give you a position or for you to create one for yourself because you creative or whatever. And you ain't trying to jump in that space first. We ain't need to talk about business. And whatever business you get ready to do is you're probably gonna scam, scheme, grift, you know what I'm saying, rob somebody else blind or something. You know what I'm saying? Say, no, you ain't got time to hear all that stuff like that. You can go read a scammer book right now. That's your highest intelligence and knowledge, but you always still gonna be missing the first process. The space Michael Jordan was in when he was by himself, when he stopped hanging with Jimmy and John and them and Peter and Paul and them, and he went to basketball practice and Peter and Paul with the Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo DiCaprio jail for about 20 years for scamming somebody. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy and Jam, then Jimmy in the penitentiary, Jam dead and stuff like. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. You gotta understand. What Michael Jordan was into, it was his old thought. It was his old mind. I'm gonna jump for the free throw line one day. You know what I'm saying? These cats ain't thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy thought about slinging a brick. Jam thought about shooting a 30 with the extra clip on it and stuff like that, the extendo on it. You know what I'm saying? Peter thought about Leonardo DiCaprio and Paul already was nepotismed up, already controlled somebody's block because his dad was a colonist or something. You know what I'm saying? His grandfather or something. That's it. That's it. But when you know how to pay attention to what you got going on, you ain't got to worry about none of that stuff. It's like it is like ease off you like water. You know what I'm saying? Slide off you like water a little bit, and you will be able to have something to bring to the table. Now you will have to be in a situation that you got to see if someone will be jealous or not, or who you need to deal with or not, because all energy ain't good energy. Always remember that. You know what I'm saying? You got to treat that like it's precious. A lot of y'all got some good gold, good talent, or a good idea. You don't know that it's getting drained, it's getting taken advantage of, or somebody plotting on it right now. Somebody sitting back, you might not even take it that serious. You might be an individual like, I ain't got shit, whatever the case may be. You probably got a cold ass idea that ultimately just led into you being in a similar situation as that family, friend, or associate or coworker, but your way of handling it is better or whatever. You don't know, you get ready to get drained. And it plays out petty in that area, right? Because it'll play out as you will start experiencing the mood that family, friend, associate, or that coworker be in that you not naturally in. And the mood that they want to be in that you are already in, you may have developed a comfort zone in it. So you're not even looking at it that serious because it's your life. It's like you're a 1-2. So you're paying attention to other things that you probably would consider. I'm going through the same thing this person going through. Everybody don't see it that way though. You see what I'm saying? And eventually you'll be on this not even knowing what you got that's a precious gem and it ain't even tangible yet. Slowly but surely, this person drained that energy from you. Now they could be in that space, and whatever negative energy that they was in is dumped on you. And you dealing with some kind of problem that you ain't even know that they really was dealing with, but you dealing with all of it now. And whatever space you was in, they in it now. And whatever space that they was in, you in that space or whatever. Just because of the vibe that who you sharing energies with and stuff like that. And it's that deep. Now you start feeling like you got to react to it. It play out subtle. A lot of y'all ain't spiritual enough to tell. It'll play out in things where you start reacting to things that person reacting to that you really didn't care about previously before. You know what I'm saying? And it could be slightly to the point that you don't know it's negative yet because it's so small on a percentage scale, but it'll start becoming bigger and bigger the more you add your thought to it and you allow that to connect to your body, that mind state to connect. So it'll start to become a bigger seed and you start to become that. And then for the most part, you end up being guilty by association or having like similar outlooks and things of that nature of stuff that's not even renowned to you, stuff that ain't really got nothing to do with you either. They could block a lot of opportunities for you. Then you'll be in a situation where you might be somewhere else that this person don't even be around, and you didn't develop this opinion on a subject matter that probably could prevent doors opening up for you where you at that ain't even got nothing to do with where you're like trying to express this mind state from that you don't even know that's what's going on at the moment. You know what I'm saying? It might be something like, yeah, when I'm back around, this is the way we feel, and we don't like this type of car. Then you might be on your business or whatever, talking to somebody that ain't got nothing to do with that could put you on or something like that. And here you go talking about a certain car. You don't know they probably got that car or like it or whatever like that. Here they go developing small kind of animosities that's so petty, it ain't something to like look at the friendship like they gonna treat you a different way. But they sure might pick somebody else for that position before you, though. They sure might have somebody else in mind, though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's so small, it ain't gonna be like a situation where you think this person has something against you, or you actually know you said something that was against them. Because it's like the spiritual world. It's just would a person rather be around something more comfortable than another. So in these areas, it ain't even a right or wrong yet. A person just got someone and got them in a position that they know that they could talk about certain cars with. And in your mind, you just like, I just ain't get it. I just ain't get the job. And that person's still cool. But deep down, it's still like a spiritual thing. You see what I'm saying? And you picked that up from being somebody on the porch who just got out the halfway house 18 months ago. And they probably got a secret like problem with that car because that was the car they got locked up 2 times ago in for trying to rob or whatever. You ain't had nothing to do with that situation, but you developed a dislike for the Infinity now. You don't like Infinities now. You know what I'm saying? All because of this. Now you blocked the whole opportunity because you don't match the same background vibe now as someone you was trying to be with and get an opportunity in a position that homeboy who just got at the halfway house, you ain't even around. You know what I'm saying? It'd be that small. It'd be stuff that small. But if you're spiritual, you'll be able to understand. If you're spiritual, you'll be able to see all those little forms of Abaddons and be like, no, I'm myself. I'm always truly myself. I'm never going to be ashamed of being myself. I'm never going to think somebody see me as being weird to being myself. You know what I'm saying? Because, pardon me. Y'all got to understand, everybody think like that. Sometimes y'all be in energies where y'all think the whole world is one thing and you just you. Well, maybe that just might be how Aries thinks. But like sometimes you might think that, right? And then for the most part, you always may justify your own thoughts before, and that's something Aries don't do. But you might be in a position where you might justify all your own thoughts up in question and hanging on the scales of the scale, whatever the case, the Libra PM scale, to think if you're right or not, and you really thinking for other people based upon a social norm that other people may not even be in. And a lot of times this block opportunities, this block motivation, this block you fully expressing yourself, and because you think how a person may think who ain't even from a background for you to develop a thought of that reaction. How do you know how that person react to whatever you get ready to express? But you're getting ready to express some watered down, diluted things based upon a master orator, like the earlier part that I broke down on this live stream. A lot of people go on the opposite end and live their life of people pleasing, or live their life of doing something X, Y, Z, A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3. And when you fulfill that little fruit, you didn't plant that seed. So when you need that fruit again, sometimes you got to work harder to get that fruit. And sometimes the fruit ain't always fulfilling, but it's the only thing you feel like you need to replenish or whatever the case may be. So this is how people live for their red pill energy, live for their feminism if they're female, live for their badge, live for their, I'm a PhD, but when these things don't always count in these areas that they wanted to count in, you can see the damage to spirit, emotional damage. You could just see it. It pours out, man. We can make a lot of books off these people, a lot of movies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You keep your phone rolling, and if y'all like a local bar or something like that, you might see a fight or crash out or argument, something. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to see something, but this is where it goes and stuff like that. But people have to understand to find that goal. Mind your business in a spiritual way. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, even in the physical, you might be a gossipy ass person or whatever. Transmute that energy. You know how to gossip, you should know how to put together a lot of things and a lot of ways to put together something to tell people or something like that. You should probably get into being some professional secretary. You know what I'm saying? For you and your little family and something like that, you keep the secretary, you keep everybody's check funds or whatever, the 3%, 30% that everybody add for their money or whatever the case may be. Find your little talent, find your little goal. You know what I'm saying? And then therefore, like everybody a person might be bored right now, didn't even know that they could be a professional bed goddamn sheet folder. No, I'm saying it can be anything because a lot of people be bored, like, I don't know what to do. You just find yourself starting. Your body naturally did that. Get into it. A lot of y'all might be females. You go find a man or something like that who invests into a lot of sheets. You make a YouTube page right now. I'm gonna show y'all different ways how to fold sheets. I'm gonna show y'all different ways how to fold bed sheets. Oh, it's all kind of stuff like look, fold it in the V shape so it got a certain crease in it before y'all go to sleep. Oh, it's deep. It's deep in today's time. Knowing what I done seen on goddamn TED Talk. Knowing this little retarded stuff I done seen on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? You ain't about to tell me ain't nobody can get rich off fold no sheets, no bed sheets and pillowcases. You ain't about to tell me can't nobody get rich right now on fold no bed sheets and pillowcases. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff, retarded. I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. I'm gonna put on that fight boss, bitch, you know. But show, you're not listening to the Monument of Terry's Moon. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel. And I gotta do these responsibilities. I got to wreck the swat. Haël'Ho, that Yahlahuè. Massasoit, Mama Toy. Woo! Masasaki.